Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. Today we are going to take a look at a long discontinued figure, but it is an extremely cool long discontinued figure, as this is the Safari LTD Carnegie Albertosaurus. And I had no idea just how hard to find this figure was anymore until someone recently asked me if I knew anywhere that was still selling this, and I actually went ahead and started to scour over the internet in search of one, and boy, I have no idea what happened with this one. I knew some of the Carnegie Collection figures got pretty rare, but you can usually find some for sale somewhere, but this Albertosaurus is like the missing link. You just can't seem to find it anywhere, or at least I personally couldn't. So I decided to pull this out, take a look at it for you guys. If you do not in fact have this, you can at least get a very cool shot of it here on Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. Again, the figure was made a very long time ago. I don't know what the date is on it. I guess we could take a quick look here. So 2003, I believe it says there. So that's quite a while ago that this figure was released. Again, the Carnegie line from Safari LTD has been discontinued for quite a while now, which is really unfortunate because I felt like the Carnegie Collection from Safari LTD produced some of the best dinosaur figures of all time. So it is definitely sad that that line is gone. However, it's still awesome that we have all these figures still out there floating around to collect, and this Albertosaurus, in my opinion, is one of the coolest of them all. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at it right now. So starting up here at the head sculpt of the Albertosaurus, you can see that there is some really nice skin texture, really nice detailing all over the head sculpt of the figure. You also have a goldish eye, which I don't normally like, and it's a little bit sloppily painted. You can definitely see that the paint has leaked down onto the eye socket area, but it's not terrible. I'm not a huge fan of gold on dinosaur eyes, but considering the coloration of the head, it really does quite nicely play off of the grayish color of the head. So it could have been better, but it's still not that bad. This is a really sloppy painted eye on this side. Definitely looks pretty rough. One thing that I'm not a fan of on the figure, I can say straight away, is the fact that the teeth don't really appear to be painted at all. They just kind of got lazy when it comes to the paint and just let the gray take over the teeth. You can see the inside of the mouth, the teeth kind of appear to have been painted really sloppily as well, but on the outside, the teeth don't really look like they have any paint on them at all. It just primarily looks like the same gray as the rest of the head. I don't know if all the figures that were produced like this are the same way, but mine personally definitely could have been better. You've got a nice pinkish coloration in there. As far as the coloration for the inside of the mouth, it looks pretty realistic. Really nicely sculpted out tongue in there. It's just a little hard to get in there and see it, but it does look quite nice. You've got the nostrils sculpted out up here. Really nice detailing all around the eye, and you've got some beautiful color variation on this figure as far as the grays they've used. It's a really nice light gray, primarily for the head, but you can see other areas of like a darker gray kind of creeping in a little bit, and then up here on the top of the head, you've got a really nice dark, almost like a pavement gray. As we start to lead down into the neck, you can see lots of skin wrinkling and skin folding going on in the neck region of our Albertosaurus. If we look over here on the opposing side, you can also see lots of really nice creasing in the skin. You've got a beautiful ear sculpted out back there as well, and what kind of appears to be maybe a little bit of hanging skin in the throat region of our Albertosaurus. You can also see a little bit of dry brushing that's been done here and there with like a blackish coloration. As we lead down here into the shoulder, you can again see lots of beautiful creasing in the skin, lots of really nice skin texture and skin detail. As we come down into the arms and hands, you can see some pretty nice sculpt work in there as well. Very nicely sculpted hands, as well as beautiful Tyrannosaur type hands. As we come back up into the body, you can see that the really beautiful skin texture is quite abundant all over the figure. The actual sculpting of the skin detail, I think, is quite phenomenal, and the Albertosaurus has got some pretty decent girth to the stomach as well, so you can see he's quite well fed for sure. Really nice transitioning between the dark coloration of that dark gray down into this light gray in the stomach region. Definitely a very smooth transition. You can see the hip bone is present right there, and you come back into the thigh area of the Albertosaurus, and you can see kind of like osteoderm like scales here and there. Really beautiful skin texture as we lead down the body. Very nice kneecap right there. Very nice calf muscles as well. I don't think that the musculature is quite as nicely defined as you would see nowadays on a dinosaur figure, but it still looks pretty decent. You've got the very nicely sculpted out feet. with some nails that are kind of painted in the same similar coloration as the rest of the body. Unfortunately, mine has a few paint chips on them. I'm thinking about maybe touching this guy up, making him look as good as new at some point soon. And then we come back up here into the tail, and you can again see the really nice skin texture as we lead out the tail. Some pretty nice skin wrinkling back here behind the thigh, and you've got a very nice striping of like a dark gray or a blackish coloration that kind of gives it a little bit of flashiness at the end of the tail there. If we look over at this side, you can actually see that striping in the neck as well, just giving it a slightly flashy appearance with a dark coloration. It looks quite cool. Again, you can see the really nice skin texture in the stomach region over here as well. You can also kind of see the skin bunching up and everything as this leg is pulling forward into the body, or pushing, I should say, forward into the body. You can see the spinal column run along the top of the animal. There's the hip bone once again, and as we lead down into the thigh and the calf, you can once again see what I was talking about, where I said that the muscle tone wasn't quite as nicely defined as you see currently on dinosaur figures, but regardless, it's again an older figure, so don't take too much away from it for that reason. You've got the nicely sculpted foot down there once again, and then we come back up into the tail, and you've got the really nice creasing in the skin right here, kind of showing the skin stretching as this leg is pulling it forward. And then we lead out this very cool tail with the nice striping. You can see it's got quite a nice curve to it, nothing that's incredibly unnatural or anything. Really beautiful detailing on the underside as well. So definitely a very cool Albertosaurus. As far as a size goes, from the tail to the head, about 8 inches or 20 centimeters. And for a height just under 4 inches, so about 3 3/4 inches, or about 9.5 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, Robert Muldoon, and the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, showing you that this Albertosaurus is definitely a smaller figure when it comes to the Safari LTD Carnegie Collection. They did have a lot of very sizable figures in that line. This Albertosaurus is certainly not one of them, much smaller than most of the figures, but again, that should show you that it is absolutely jam-packed with really nice detailing and a beautiful sculpt considering its size, and you can hopefully take note of that next to these 3 figures right here. So the Safari LTD Carnegie Collection Albertosaurus is an extremely cool figure, definitely one of my favorites from the older line, because how often do we get Albertosaurus figures? I can answer that for you, not very often. It's few and far between when we get one, and I would love to see Safari LTD currently tackle the Albertosaurus again and give us a figure of it, because I really feel like it's long overdue. This one, like I said, was from 2003, so that was a long time ago when they last took a shot at an Albertosaurus, and I would love to see them do that once again now. But I really think that as far as an Albertosaurus goes, when this one was created, it really was a beautiful figure, and still is to this day. I think the skin texture and the overall sculpting of all the skin detail on the figure is really nice. I think the pose is definitely quite appealing. It's nothing overly violent looking where he's trying to attack a dinosaur. It's nothing crazy. He just kind of appears to be strolling along, maybe letting out a little roar or something. Definitely a very nice, kind of relaxed, casual pose for the Albertosaurus. I think the paint scheme is pretty nice as well. It's nothing overly flashy or unrealistic, darker tones of color, which is something I could potentially see an Albertosaurus being. I think they've done a great job on shading different areas, giving it really nice dark tones in certain spots and really nice light tones in other spots. Unfortunately, there is a little bit of sloppiness as far as the paint goes in the eye area, and also the fact that the teeth don't really appear to have any paint on them on the outside is a little bit of a downside. I would have also liked had they actually painted the nails a slightly different color as opposed to just kind of giving it a quick airbrushing over with a darker color over the feet and nails. But those are just minor gripes. There is nothing that's majorly wrong with the figure, and overall it is a really cool looking Albertosaurus figure. Definitely worth hunting out, purchasing if you can in fact find one for sale. I think the fact that the figure is so hard to find will kind of make it a fun one to track down, because it really will be quite the victory when you do officially find one. So again, I will try to find one, maybe on eBay somewhere for sale, and link you guys in the description. But considering I really had zero luck the other day when I was trying to do just that, I don't know for sure if I will be able to find one. But regardless, good luck to all of you out there who are in fact interested in finding this figure. I hope everyone that wants one is able to find and acquire one at some point. So if you want this figure, make sure you hunt this one out. But before you do that, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.